Time now for the Arkle, and I'm joined once again by Claude, Bill and Tanya, and we'll get straight into it. Lickety split, 2 miles, the quickest race pretty much going. 2 of the last 10 favourites have won, but 9 of the last 10 winners have been 8 to 1 or shorter, so it's not really a bookmaker's fest here in getting them all beat. We bet here at Star Sports, we bet 4 to 7 Undersur, 5 to 1 Vibrato Valtat, 10 to 1 Vitor, 12 to 1 Jossers Hill, 12 to 1 Cheltenham, and 16 to 1 Sergeant Reckless. Tanya, I'll let you go first here. Ladies first. Ladies first.
Come on. First up.
Come on. Well, I've watched Undersur, and you've mentioned that it's going to be the fastest run race, and that's all he knows to do, to go out and run as fast as he can over the hurdles. And then over the fences. I mentioned the hurdles because not so long ago, for this season, he was 10 to 1 to win the champion hurdle, and now we find him in the Racing Post Arkle. Is he a certainty? Is he the banker of the meeting? I'm not in favour of backing odds on shots, so I was never ever going to say I fancy Undersur. I was always going to try and wheedle out something against it, and I was very pleased in the Kingmaker just recently, the way that Top Gamble took it out to Vibrato Valtat and challenged him and said, come and get me if we can. And he certainly did.
He's a reformed character. He's like he's been to the Priory, old Vibrato Valtat, and he said, look, sorry for all that, I won't do it again. And well, he's a 5 to 1 shot for the Arkle.
He's had the toughest races. He's been where he's been sort of, you could say, intimidated, and horses have got alongside him and but they've got alongside him, so he's never put off with his jumping. And I think his best run was when he ran against Sable Companion Irish Saint and Dunraven Storm at Sandown, and they all sort of bumped up the run in. So he's got into all the hustle and bustle of a race. I might be totally wrong, and I probably am. Undersur will lead all the way, and like Simon Sieg and Sprinter Sacre win as far as they like, because the others won't get to them. But I want to look for value, and I thought that Warwick run was tremendous by Vibrato Valtat. Josh's Hill worries me, his jumping can let him down. Cheltenham's already been beaten well and truly by Undersur. Apache Stronghold, I would doubt he'd come for this race. If he did, he'd be intriguing. And I was very impressed at Sandown by Jetan de Burle when she just hopped round there, no problem. But my selection would be Vibrato Valtat.
William.
We've
argued long.
Difficult one. I know you're not a fan of Undersur. I wasn't a fan of Undersur until the Irish Arkle. 2 good horses took him on. Gilgamba and Cheltenham, both slammed.
But Gilgamba has come back out and been well and truly put in his place again.
His heart may have been broken. You don't know what the reasons are for that. Very hard. Small field. This will be another 6, 7, 8 runner job. So he'll probably get the run of the race up front. Undersur, I don't think anything will catch him. Terrible cliche, but the dangers are in front rather than behind. It's his heart in mouth, I think Willie Myers described it as style of
behind the sofa job is what we call it.
Harder jumping. So you wouldn't want to take 4 to 7 about him. I agree with Tanya about Vibrato Valtat. I'm a fan of him, but they may all be there may be a fence behind him. That's the thing. I think the other important point to make here is it's whether, if you're looking for an each way bet in the race, it's whether the horse or your selection is ridden to beat the horse or ridden to come second.
Correct.
Because if you go and try and beat Undersur, you might have your heart broken and end up being tailed off. So it might be that if Vibrato Valtat is ridden with constraint and played late, I think he'll probably finish second. I think they'll finish 1, 2 in that order.
Well, I think the important thing you said there is if you're going to play one each way, AK to come second, third, you'll need to do that now, because I think we're all in agreement we'll probably get less than 8 runners here. So time is of the essence. If you're going to play one each way here, get on ASAP. Selection for you then, Undersur probably wins.
I think Undersur will win. Yeah. I think Vibrato Valtat will come second. I think the market's got it.
Come on, Claude. We know you don't like these favourites.
No, I don't like favourites at all, particularly odds on shots. Remember, he was 8 to 1 on at Navan in Turles in November, and he ended up on the deck there. So
fingers burnt.
Well,
fingers
there
burnt.
you go. But that's, he's had 12 races. He's won 11 of them. So he comes to the race with a marvellous record. As we all know, he's a front runner. That race we were talking about, he absolutely watered the track, didn't he, to win by 15 lengths. I mean, that was fantastic. Mullins, 11 runners in the race, he's never won it.
Stats man, Stats man.
He's never had one really disappointing. He's never had one like this before.
Well, no, he hasn't had an odds on favourite.
We all thought Champagne Fever, the queue was there for Champagne Fever last year, wasn't it? So.
No, I'm going to stick with him, although Gordon Elliott, he was saying that you must, the old saying, you must never be frightened of one horse.
Couldn't agree more.
And
I'll get Gordon on the panel next year.
Clarkham 12-1. As we sit here now, I think he's quite an interesting bet.
Well, I'll have my moment, and as bookmakers at Cheltenham, you've got to lay the favourites whether you like them or not. And I would say for me, Underseas, don't get me wrong, most likely winning the race by a long way, but 4-7 for the 1,000 horses price up at Cheltenham at the moment, I would say that's the worst price out there. If you look back 2 years ago, we had Sprinter Sacra come to the festival, probably the best horse, certainly best horse I've ever seen, one of the best horses we've ever seen. Went off 8-11, it didn't even touch a twig in its preparation, let alone tip up. This thing's tipped up, pulls and pulls and pulls and pulls and pulls. If Dauphin gets beaten the first, this 4-7 will be easily even money on the day. I just think that for a horse that's never settled and fallen once in its 3 preparation races, they're going to go a million miles an hour, as we know. Most likely winner, but at 4-7, definitely the horse I would like to lay the most at the Cheltenham Festival. So
we can replay that as a
It's
montage.
just keep it on loop. Keep it on loop. I'll have a spare TV in my office just to remind me of how good I am.
Yeah.
But selection time for me, it really is lay the favourite. It's just a stupid price. Claude,
I'm going to go with the favourite, but I think you're right. If the favourite in the first race gets turned over, he might be a really, really short.
I think Unis will win and Fresh Air will be second.
right? Okay.
Vibrato Valter.
Very well said. Well, what I will say to you is, call the office 08000 521 321. Argue with our traders when they quote you 4-7. Say no. Quote the Cheltenham preview videos. They will lay you your first £100 at 4-6. I guarantee that, because if they don't, I'll make up the money myself. So anyone who quotes this video to the office, your first £100 stake, 4-6, that's guaranteed. Whatever you back, other than the favourite, I wish you all the best of luck.